Reading at Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. What I hadn't allowed for is that anybody seen reading the Bible in the army immediately becomes very conspicuous. And I hadn't anticipated the reaction. The thing was that I baffled everybody, including myself, because when I wasn't reading the Bible, I didn't live the least bit like somebody who regularly reads the Bible. No book is going to beat me. I'll read it through from beginning to end. After 9 months in the army, I had got somewhere about the middle of the book of Job. And I now compare myself with some professing Christians, and I think I didn't do badly. An Israelite occurred, and there are 79. And now, one of our problems in the charismatic movement, and I tell people I don't think the charismatic movement is any longer a movement because it isn't moving. And I've been part of it since 1963, but there was a time when Don Basham and I were officially characterized as heretics by the Assemblies of God because we were casting demons out of Christians. I always wondered what they expected us to do. Leave them in. This little girl was born in a hut. Her mother died. She was found unconscious on the floor. And they took her to the hospital. She's getting better. But the hospital say, we're not a children's home. We can't keep children forever. And we have been going around for 3 days, the whole of this area, looking for any family, African, Asian, or European, that would take her. Then they said, we heard that you take children. So the immigration official said, come in and we'll see what we can do. So they led us into Minneapolis and they arranged the whole process of immigration, which I had never intended. So I say to people, I'm probably the only person who immigrated into the United States by accident. And I never really thought that I'd find myself in an Armenian church in the old city in Jerusalem, laying hands on a Catholic cardinal to celebrate his 50th anniversary. I mean, some of the situations that you get into, you don't expect. Do you think she'd like me to pray for her? They said, oh, yes. And they phoned and arranged it all. And I was being driven around by a young man. We set out to find the house, got lost, wandered around Jerusalem for about 30 minutes. And eventually I said to him, listen, David, it's no good. We just can't find it. God doesn't want us here. And we stopped the car right opposite the house. I have a rather unusual way of praying for people who have back problems. I check their legs. And if they're unequal, the short leg grows out. And then you know you've been touched by God and you just take whatever you want. Has anybody ever seen me do that? I'm sure somebody must have. Yes, okay. It still works. I didn't plan it. I mean, I would never have thought of such a thing. So I said to this lady, do you mind if I check your legs? She said, okay. I checked them. They were absolutely even. There was a lady in this vision in a rather unusual dress and a rather unusual position. And as I looked at her, I thought, that's the lady I prayed for the other day. Well, what really made things difficult was I felt the Lord was saying, I want you to marry that lady. And I said, Lord, I don't know her. I don't love her. How can you ask me? But the Lord didn't answer. I said to myself, now this is where Pentecostal preachers get into trouble. So I wrote the lady a nice tactful letter and said, if you should ever be visiting the States, there is a fellowship in Kansas City which is very interested in Israel. I know they would make you welcome. Well, I got a letter back saying I'm coming next week. And I'd always had an ambition to buy a South African diamond. Then I sent a telegram to this lady saying, meet me in the King David Hotel for breakfast at 9 a.m. on a certain day. And I thought, now this is going to settle it one way or the other. And I went on asking questions. And then I said, maybe we should have lunch together. So we did. And I was still asking questions. After a while, she said, I'm sorry, but I'm too tired to answer any more questions. And I thought, well, I was very, very tactless. I think I need to tell you why I wanted to have breakfast with you. So I said, I was praying, and I saw you in a vision, and I felt the Lord wanted me to marry you. And she said, yes. Slipped my hand into my pocket, pulled out a little packet wrapped in paper, and said, it so happens I have a diamond, which she is now wearing. So if you want to know about that story, it's in God is a Matchmaker. So we got married in 17th of October.